name is Mikey Sherrill. Thank you so much to all of the student moderators, to NJ11 for Change, and to all of you, the audience participants, for coming out today to talk about this really important issue. I think we're all here to some extent because we're so concerned about what's going on in Washington. And yet I think the silver lining is to see all of the active participation in our democratic process that has come about because of that. Nowhere is that more evident than here in the 11th District of New Jersey. So we saw 15,000 people on the Morristown Green for the Women's March. We had the biggest march for our lives here in Morristown in the state, and it was all student-led. It's been an incredible experience. And I think a lot of you are here today for some of the same reasons that I'm running for Congress, because we've seen our values under attack. So we've seen attacks on women's rights and minority rights, on the values enshrined in our Constitution, and the very things that we know support our democracy, like freedom of the press. And so as a former Navy helicopter pilot and a federal prosecutor, I'm here today because I've fought my entire life for this country, and I'm going to continue to do so. And so we need to take a really strong stand on these important issues. We know that almost all Americans agree that we need universal background checks. We know that people want to keep dangerous weapons out of the hands of dangerous individuals. And we know that we can get this done because we've seen an active electorate here in the 11th District that demanded new leadership in Washington. And that's exactly what I want to provide when I go down to Congress. So I'm going to advocate strongly for gun safety regulations, and I'm going to do it with all of you here today. Thank you so much.
Mark Washburn, would you please introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, friends, neighbors, and more importantly, students. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. My name is Mark Washburn. For the last 26 years, I've been teaching college. In fact, it was a first Saturday in April of 1992 that I taught my first college class. I was World Geography at Berkeley College of Business. I also have an MBA. I spent 10 years in business before becoming a teacher. I'm also an author. I wrote a book about my cousin. Actually, it's a 7-volume series on my cousin. He was a Civil War congressman. So this book was written in 2000, or published in 2000, this one 2016, and there's 6 books in between. So I've spent a lot of time researching Congress, teaching about government, teaching about history, and now I am seeking to use that knowledge to represent you in the 11th Congressional District. I guess as a teacher I should start off by saying I do not have any weapons on me right now. I know our president wants us to start arming our teachers out there. I don't think that's a great idea, right? We should be teaching and not being involved in that type of work. Let's face it, other countries do not allow their citizens to have the type of rights that we have when it comes to guns. America makes up about 4.4% of the population, but we have 42% of the guns in America. This has led to in 2016, over 38,000 deaths by guns in America. It came out to 96 Americans each day dying. It comes out to about 13,000 on average each year. For every 1 person killed, there are 2 injured for that same thing. Other countries, again, do not allow us to do this, but I want to find some sensible things, so thank you for setting this up for us on gun safety.